on the side.
Sign right there.
Oh, that's yours.
I just pulled it out of this
I
thing
know,
in here.
because she was supposed
That's
to
okay.
sit there. That means
Oh,
he
gotcha,
has
so
your-
then-
everyone's got the one.
So you show this is
Can you give that to him? He needs that.
oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Mine might be to the right of.
That's all right. What is it?
Oh, no, I'll do that part. I notarize it and do all that.
Oh, so that's yours, isn't it?
No, I think they moved.
Thank you, guys.
We'll get
Where's
it.
his, oh, it's
Warren,
time
we'll
to
get it
start,
sorted.
But he doesn't have a book.
Have a what?
Is that maybe
Book?
Oh,
you got me? No, I'm good.
Which one?
Oh, I have
That's
one.
mine.
They moved me around a little bit. Thank you.
Your book is down there then?
Yeah,
I didn't steal your pencil, did I?
I just
Still
grabbed
have
one in front of me.
a weapon.
Me too.
There you go.
Except there wasn't one.
Yep, I have one, and you've got one.
He normally would sit
Ready to roll.
But our new chairman, Sue, she's not here today.
Oh, okay.
So he's the vice chairman, so he's filling in. And I'm here. And
Okay.
look here, buddy. Look.
I'm sure it will all be just fine. I wasn't here last month, so
You're doing this.
and I'm glad to be here.
You know, the second, if you miss 2 months in a row, they fine you $1,000.
Okay, it's.
We got a couple of links.
Please blood.
There you go.
Call to order. Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on February 27, 2019. Welcome, everyone. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council. We serve voluntarily. It is this board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, the violation, and then the affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes. The board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave. If necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all who plan to speak to please rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
Okay. Got a new book here.
Uh-oh.
Approval of minutes. Board, may I have your
Move to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on, citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. This would be your moment to get up, speak about anything except for what's on today's agenda. Anything? I would like to say something. And it's proud I can do this almost year after year. I'm very proud of the city of Clearwater for its beach being recognized as the #1 beach
Oh, yes.
in the nation. Again.
Again,
Yeah,
still.
I mean, in the nation. Maybe the world, I don't know. That might be pushing it, but I just think that's awesome. Okay, new business items, 4.1, case 15-19. Find respondents Barbara Barber, excuse me, at 1430 South Madison Avenue in violation of code for exterior surfaces and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is Barbara here? Barbara, come on down, please. Hi, Barbara.
I'm not Barbara. I'm Valerie Washington. I'm her daughter, and this is my daughter, Kayla. My mom is going to be 80 on Saturday, and was unable to come. So I have a letter that was notarized.
Okay, what was your first name?
Valerie Washington.
Valerie, Valerie, we need your address, just for the record.
Address? My address is 400 Fairwood Avenue, apartment 113, Clearwater, Florida, 33759.
Okay, thank you. And Valerie, for your mom, do you admit or deny the charge?
I know the house needs to be painted, so I guess I admit.
You admit, okay. Valerie, listen, just have a seat in the front row. We're going to hear what the city has to say,
Okay.
and then we're going to bring you back up, and I need a motion on the first admit. Board?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And this is Inspector Fletcher.
Hello, I'm Vicki Fletcher with the City of Clearwater Code Compliance Inspector. This is for case 1519 for 1430 South Madison Avenue. There's one violation here, Code Section 3-1502B for exterior surfaces. Notice of violation was sent on 8/16/2018 with a compliance date of 9/16/2018. I did not receive the green card, so I did post the property on November 19th of 2018. This is a copy of some pictures of what the house originally looked like. Sorry, let me go back one. Back in August. This is a copy of the affidavit of posting on November 19th. These are more pictures of what the property looked like. Again, on January 10th, when I went there, it appeared that they had pressure washed the house, but it had not been painted. This is a copy for today's hearing, which was posted on February 15th. When I went there today on Monday when I went there, it still had only been pressure washed, it had been painted. I did go by there today and they have started the painting. So I am requesting compliance on or before March 19th or a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the inspector?
Was this a complaint-driven issue?
It was actually another complaint on that street. There was several of them. So in that instance, we
While you were
did
there.
the whole entire street, yeah.
Thank you.
Valerie? Valerie, so you heard what the city's requesting.
Yes,
Looking for compliance by the 19th of March.
I saw that.
You okay with that?
Yes, because Gary, he's the one that started the painting. I think he lives, near the house, and he's the one that started it, and he's telling us that he will finish it. Well, obviously, if he doesn't finish it, then I will have a backup plan
Okay.
and have it finished by March the 19th.
And you and your mom, you have the inspector's phone number?
I have her number. I spoke to her several times.
So that's your communication line?
Yes.
If you're getting close to that date and you're not there, maybe call her.
I understand.
Okay.
All right.
Will he also be replacing the wood as well?
I don't know. I guess
That's part of it.
I can do that. The wood around the top of the house, is that what you're saying?
Rotted wood needs to be
Yeah.
replaced, removed, or repaired.
Okay. All right.
That's part of the
Okay. Any other questions? We heard the recommendation, or did you want us to?
Yeah, you want me to finish the?
Yeah. Valerie, just have a seat one more time. We'll hear the city's recommendation.
Compliance can be met for the exterior surfaces by pressure washing and or painting the entire structure so the surface is free of mildew, rust, loose materials, including patching and peeling paint. Also, all rotted wood needs to be replaced, removed, or repaired.
Want a motion?
Oh, what's going on here? And then these are just what they look like on the 15th.
Okay. Any questions from the board for the inspector? Well, let's make a motion then.
I move to enter an order that a fine of $150 per day be imposed for, I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat. Okay. I moved in an order requiring the respondent to correct a violation on or before March 19th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Valerie, you understand? So you have to the 19th of March to comply,
Yes,
and if you have any problems, I would.
I will, I'll call her.
Okay, very good. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Thank
Valerie.
you.
Thank you, Valerie.
4.2, case 16-19, Deanna Hicks and LaWanda Griffin at 1151 Woodlawn Street in violation of code for exterior surfaces, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they here?
It's Dion Hicks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried my best, but sorry. And would you tell us your name
Dion Hicks.
and your address?
My address, 401 Rosary Road Northeast,
Okay.
Largo.
Okay. And do you admit or deny the charge?
I guess admit.
Okay. Okay. If you'd have a seat in the front row, this is our procedure, and we'll give you a chance to speak. So this is Inspector Fletcher.
Vicki Fletcher with the city.
Hold on, wait a minute. I need that motion. First motion.
Yes, I move to find the respondent in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, Inspector.
Vicki Fletcher with the City of Clearwater, Code Compliance Inspector. This is for 1151 Woodlawn Street, case number 16-19. There's one violation here for exterior surfaces, Code Section 3-1502B. Notice of violation was sent on 10/25/2018 with a compliance date of 11/22/2018, and the certified mail was received on 11/1/2018. These pictures were taken back in October. You can see the rotted wood, the mildew, the peeling paint in the front of the house. There was actually several violations at the time, which is what this picture is just showing the whole property. All the violations were taken care of except for the exterior surfaces. And that's just showing you the address at 1151. Again, on November 26th, it was still in violation. Again, on January 10th, it was still in violation. Do you want me to go forward with my recommendation?
Yeah, why don't you?
So there's one violation here, and we're requesting compliance on or before March 29th of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for the exterior surfaces by pressure washing and or painting the entire structure so the surface is free of mildew, rust, loose material, including patching and peeling paint. Also, all rotted wood needs to be replaced, removed, or repaired.
Okay. Ma'am, would you come forward, please? So you heard what the city is requesting. Are you okay with that deadline?
It's going to take longer than that. We actually just took over of the property. My grandmother was living there. My father left it to my sister and I in the will when he passed away 6 years ago. She just left a year ago because she's in a nursing home now. We thought she was going to come back. As far as the wood, the roof has to be done, so that whole thing has to be done, so it's going to take us longer. The termites, so we got to get it tinted, which we're trying to get done within the next couple of weeks. But as far as the roof, that's going to take us a little bit of time to do.
How much time?
A couple of months. I'm trying to move in June myself, so I'm hoping and praying that we can have everything done. I work night shift, so when I'm calling Miss Fletcher and she's calling me back, I'm asleep. I'm not up 8 to 4.
You know, I personally have no problem working with you because I commend you for the...
And I've been up since 4 o'clock yesterday, so.
Oh, boy. How about, so you're...
I'm trying to, myself personally, to move into the home by June of this year. So my sister and I are working on getting someone. We got a couple of people. We're just trying to find the best option because we both have our own separate places that we live at now. So we're paying bills there and trying to get the home ready for me to move into.
So the city has given you 30 days. If we gave you another 30 days, that'd be...
We at least have it tinted and hopefully started on the roof, yes.
Board, does that sound?
Yeah.
60 days?
Yeah.
Okay, we heard the city's recommendation.
April
Want
29th.
we make a motion? Yeah. Be April 29th, right?
I move to enter order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before April 29th.
Right.
Okay. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. After 3 months from the recorded action date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that's carried. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And I heard you say you do have her phone number.
Yes, I do. I leave messages, but like I said, I probably have to get my sister to do it because she does work during the daytime.
Okay. Well, good luck.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. 4.3, case 17-19, find respondents R.E. Metz Properties at 1616 Gulf to Bay Boulevard in violation of code for temporary signs, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is R.E. Metz here? Is this a declaration?
It is not.
So I'll take a first motion from the board, please.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Inspector Knight.
Hello, Board. Daniel Knight, Sign Inspector with the city. Today I'll be presenting case 17-19 for 1616 Gulf to Bay Boulevard for temporary sidewalk sign violation. The city is asking compliance on or before March 27th of 2019 or a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months of the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for temporary sidewalk signs by removing the sidewalk sign from the property until a sidewalk sign permit can be obtained and that all the criteria and limitations presented in Table 3-1806-1A can be followed on a regular basis. I had brought this property in front of the board a year or so ago for other signage violations, but if underneath their freestanding sign it says CBD, that is the sidewalk sign that is in violation. There is no permit for it. It does look like it would be an allowable design, but also under Table 3-1806-1A, that sidewalk sign would need to be out in front of their business unit no further than 2 feet. It can't be out underneath that freestanding sign. It needs to be over by their business unit. This was on 12/17. The reason why this case took a little bit longer than expected was because, as you can see in this picture, they did decide to erect some feather signs. So I cited them for that. Just in case that didn't come into compliance, I wanted to bring both cases forward at the same time. But the feather signs did come into compliance. They've been taken down. But if you look behind it, you can still see that sidewalk sign is still there on December 17th. And then this was on January 7th. And then again, February 23rd. So I've spoken to the business owner. I've handed him the sidewalk sign application. He knows it's in violation. I have not spoke to the property owner. The mail gets returned, so I have to post the property with the affidavits.
The CBD sign is the sign that's in violation?
That's the one we are talking about today, yes, sir.
What if he mounted that up on his pole?
No, unfortunately not.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah, he's already got fines accruing for permits erected, signs erected without permits.
Did they read your palm while you were there?
Yeah, well.
So this is another sign, Daniel, that he doesn't have a permit for.
Correct.
Plus.
Yeah.
What does he say?
The business owner told me that he would get one, but it's been months and he hasn't, so.
But the violation is going to go against the property owner, not against
Correct.
the business owner.
Correct.
So maybe he'll be stirred. No.
Yeah, but it's up to the property owner to maintain his tenants, his or her
Right.
tenants.
What's your recommendation?
Yes, I will go back to that. We are asking compliance on or before March 25th of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation could.
You mean March 27th?
I'm sorry, the 27th.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
I'll make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct a violation on or before March 27th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. 4.4, case 18-19, find respondents, 1142 Sunset Point Road LLC at 1142 Sunset Point Road in violation of code for prohibitive signage, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Are they here? Is this a declaration?
The city is seeking a declaration of violation. Compliance has been met.
Well, we can handle that. Board, let's,
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Inspector.
Wait, that's not the right motion.
There's a lot more.
Who seconded it?
You need the whole motion.
See, I never got to finish.
Oh, go ahead, let's finish.
Okay. Violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed against the respondent. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each violation. The violation continues to exist. Now we need a second.
Yeah, who seconded that the last time?
I did, now second it again.
There you go.
All-
Now we're at 4.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. 4.5, case 19-19, find respondents Veronica Zerman at 1943 Overbrook Avenue in repeat violation of code for parking lot surfaces, exterior surfaces, and clean roof, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is Veronica here? And this is a repeat.
This is a repeat.
She should be here.
I would be.
Well, let's issue a subpoena. Okay, she's not here, so,
Repeat motion.
yeah.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case and has committed a repeat violation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried, and Inspector Jewett.
Good afternoon, Inspector Jewett with 1943 Overbrook Avenue. We actually have 4 violations at this property. Code section 3-1502B for exterior surfaces, 1502C3 for windows and door maintenance, 3-1502D3 for roof maintenance, and K4 and 1403A for parking lot and driveway surfaces. Definition of a repeat violation means that a violation of a provision of a code by a person who has been previously found through a code enforcement board or any other quasi-judicial or judicial process to have violated or who has admitted violating the same provisions within 5 years prior to the violation, notwithstanding the violations occur at different locations. On 9/26 of last year, case 120-18 for the property at 301 North Madison was brought before this board by myself. The property owner, Veronica Zerman, was found in violation of the code sections, the same code sections that I'm presenting to today, along with some additionals. The property at 1943 Overbrook has the same owner and the same violations that exist at this location. The violations are now considered to be repeat and are subject to immediate fines. Just for a refresher, this is what the home that I brought in September of 2018, and this is what it looks like today. For 1943 Overbrook, the notice of violation was sent on the 4th, and the property was posted with a request for hearing on the 9th of January. On the 4th, This is the property at 1943 Overbrook. You can see the deterioration on the walls, underneath the windows. The driveway is in disrepair. Again, nice close-up of the windows. At the doorway, the archway you can see is just kind of being held on by those two posts. The wood underneath as you walk up to the door is completely rotted. The awnings are a mess. This is to the side of the yard. Going back, I did not walk the entire properties, even though there's nobody living there currently. The water was shut off last year in February. I did not walk the entire property. I didn't have permission to. Again, just more of the front of the property. This is my posting on the 9th for the property. You see, nothing has changed from there. On the 29th, I went back. Nothing has changed. On the 4th of February, my postings are still there. On the 12th of February, my postings are still there. The 15th, they were taken down, and then I posted the property on the 15th. I went back to the property on the 19th. Nothing has changed since. And then on the 25th.
And the utilities are cut off?
The water was shut off in February of last year.
Yeah, well, it's been abandoned. Nobody's going to get into it.
Not from what I can tell. A couple of the neighbors I've asked, they said they've never seen anybody there for since.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So this property came into, but they also own another piece of property and have decided for these same violations.
Right.
Okay. But did that property ever, the first property ever come into compliance?
No,
based on the photographs?
the first two photos I actually showed. This home right here is the one I originally brought to the board for its original violations. That's the 15th of February of this year. That's what it looks like now.
That was never brought into compliance, and now the second property has the same criteria.
Right, I actually received a call for a overgrowth at that property at 1943. We actually brought it to the board last month for an abatement. We did abate it, and she actually paid the lien for the abatement. That's about the only known instance. I mean, she will sign for her cards except for this one. She has paid for the lien, but she has never responded to anything that
You've never talked to her?
Never. And from what I can understand, the neighbors have not been able to get a hold of her either.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for the inspector?
Mike.
What's your recommendation?
And Mr. Chairman, before you close, it's been brought to my attention, maybe Inspector Jewett could clear it up, but what it looks like that instead of the other property having 4 of the violations, it only has 3 of them. It does not have the parking lot driveway surfaces violation.
On this one here?
No, on the one on the other property. It looks like they were just found in violation of 3-1502B, 3-1502C3, and 3-1502D3. So, unless I'm incorrect, the repeat violation will be for 3 violations and not for 4.
On this one?
Correct.
We actually did have come into it. She was in
so for the
in violation at 301 for the parking lot as well.
1943.
Well, this is 1943.
Right, but
at 301 she was found in violation.
This is the one we're concerned about right now, 1943.
1943 is what we're concerned with now. At 301 she was found in violation of.
So what you're saying, at the first property, she was in violation of all 4 parts of the code.
Right.
And also at the new property, she's in violation of all 4 parts. That's what he's saying.
Okay. We had 1 and 2 combined under the initial violation, so that's why we just want to make sure for repeat purposes that we're only finding 3.
So
Because 1 and 2 were combined. While the violations remain the same, they were just brought in as 3 instead of 4.
Okay.
So for repeat purposes, 1 and 2 is combined, so you're going to have 3 separate violations per day for each day that you determine
Andy,
the fine exists.
We're on this one right here, right, 1943?
Right, but it's going to be 3 instead of 4.
Yeah. 3 violations, gotcha. You know, I have a question with utilities cut off. I mean, this is almost could be considered abandoned, right?
Could be,
I mean, we're not there yet.
right.
It certainly looks abandoned.
Yeah. How about unsafe? Any unsafe issues where this?
Not that we have seen yet. We're actually going to be probably looking at abandonment cases.
That'll be our next step. Gotcha. Huh.
I just want the fine to be correct, because they appeal.
It's a great big nuisance right now.
They lose out on
Sorry?
that too.
What's your recommendation
The recommendation?
on 3 violations? What violation did we delete?
We didn't, 1 and 2
They
were
were
combined.
combined, 1 and 2 were combined.
They were just combined under the initial violation.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't affect us then.
So it's three.
Are they gonna rule on 3?
We're going to rule on 3. Assuming that they find the days of violation, it should be, instead of $2,000 per day, we'll do it as $1,500. We'll just change the amount, but it depends on how many days. We could do the math. You don't have to make a determination, just the amount per day per violation. So if it's 54 days times 1,500 instead of 2,000.
Am I reading the same thing you are, Andy? Fine of $500 per day per violation, $2,000 per day.
It'll be 1,500.
Oh, it'll be 50 because there's
Right.
3.
There's 3, yeah.
Okay.
They combined it.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Maybe that'll rile them up, huh?
So the total to date won't be the same either, will it? 100?
Right, but you don't have to worry about that. You just have to make a determination as to the amount per day, per
Okay.
violation, and the number of days.
Okay.
Okay, we could do that.
Yep.
Who wants to do that? We need a motion?
We're gonna multiply 54 by 15.
We got payable within,
We got 500 per day.
Sorry, sir?
payable within how many days? Don't need that?
Payable within, it's
$1,500 for a day for 54 days.
Right.
What does that equal?
I'm gonna figure it out.
Well, we don't need that, he said.
Oh,
81,000.
81,000? I'll do it if you want me to.
Yeah, 81,000.
I move to enter order that a fine of $1,500 per day be imposed for the 54 days the repeat violation existed, for a total fine of $81,000, payable within, I assume, 30 days?
Sounds good.
30 days?
Yeah.
Okay. Within 30 days of the order's postmark. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to, it'll be different then, I'm sure, $500 each day, which we're at now. Well, we're at 1,500, the violation continues to exist. So that really wouldn't be counted because we're already up to 1,500.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Inspector. These are the ones we want to see. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. 4.6 has been withdrawn. 4.7, case 21-19, find respondents, Maya L.E. Hambelt at 502 Palm Bluff Street in violation of code for exterior surfaces, roof maintenance, and abandoned building, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is Maya here?
Nope.
No, is this a declaration?
No, sir.
So we could do a first on the admit.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Inspector.
Inspector Greg Dixon with City of Clearwater, Code Compliance. This is case 21-19. My recommendations for this case, there's 3 violations for roof maintenance, exterior surfaces, and abandoned building. Request compliance on or before March 27th, 2019, or a fine of $150 per day per violation if compliance is not met. And after 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such liens using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for roof maintenance by maintaining the roof in a clean, mildew-free, watertight condition and by replacing any loose or missing shingles. Compliance can be met for exterior surface by repairing any peeling or failing paint and damaged exterior surface and maintain the exterior surface in a clean, mildew-free condition. And compliance can be met for abandoned building by having the property sold, demolished, or have the utilities turned on, and correct all outstanding code violations. Here's a picture of the home in November. Again in November. You see the roof there is got some holes in it on the left. We brought this last month, so we cut the grass. They didn't cut the grass.
But it's up for sale?
That came up after the grass got cut.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Where is Palm Bluff?
It's just down the street from the Municipal building on Fort Harrison. Maybe a few blocks before the Seminole Docks. And the property, the utilities was turned off 2 years ago, like 2016 was when it was turned off. That's it. Any questions?
No communications from the owners?
I did find a phone number for her, and I contacted her, and she said she only had money to pay the mortgage and the taxes, and she didn't have any funds to make any repairs to the home.
Any other questions from the board? Well, we go ahead and make a motion.
Did we do the first motion on this?
Yes.
We did.
Second motion.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Got to read the rest of it.
I know, I'm getting to it. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before, and that date was March 27th,
Right.
2019. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Inspector. 4.8, case 26-19, fined respondents, 902 Turner Street Land Trust, Kasuchi Gene Trust at 904.5 Turner Street in violation of code for unsafe building, and issue an order with the compliance deadline. Are they here? Nobody wants to come today. What's going on?
They know it's gonna rain.
They're home watching that Cohen thing. That's right. That's what they're doing. So, is this a declaration?
No, it's not.
So we need a first on the admit.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the City of Clearwater Code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Inspector Cantrell.
Good afternoon, Jason Cantrell, Building Inspector, presenting case 2619 for the property at 904.5 Turner Street. Here we have one violation for an unsafe structure, citing section 3-1502A for property maintenance requirements, 3-1503B2 for public nuisance, and section 47.161 for unsafe buildings and systems. Notice of violation was sent on 3/2/2017, 6/30/2017, 2/7/2018, 3/23/2018, all by my predecessor, the previous inspector, and then on 12/3/2018 by myself. Compliance dates were from the date of receipt of each notice, 7 days to obtain a permit, subsequently 20 days to complete the work. Affidavits of posting were done on 2/9/2018 by the previous inspector and on January 7th of this year by myself. A building permit was completed in May 2018 for a sewer cut and cap that was ahead of demolition, and then the building permit for demolition was applied for. However, it was not obtained as revisions are still needed on that permit. This property, as you can see, is between South MLK and Prospect, and then Turner on the south and Chestnut on the north.
Is this the house that's in the back?
This is. It is, but it's probably not the one you're thinking of. I did bring another one on Turner Street that was also in the back. This one was a structure fire back on January 31st, 2017. This is the photo from the previous inspector. On 6/20/2018, this is my photo. You can see the damage from the fire itself. You have electrical wires hanging down on the right side. Again, on 6/20, you can see parts of the roof are missing, have been burned away. The siding has been burned away. There's a lot of structural damage. The doors are open for anybody to go into, and then the deck also does not have any railings up top. And that's a view of the inside of the home. The whole home is burned out. Again, on October 8th, 2018, no change in the condition and no action at this point on the permit. Again, January 8th, 2019, it's no action on the building itself. There's a lot more overgrowth now. And that same day, there's my affidavit of posting. And I'll let you deliberate.
Has a permit ever been applied for?
Yes, the permit was completed for the sewer cut and cap, and the demo permit is applied for.
The demo is? Okay.
It is. However, the owner did contact me this week, and he said he's going through foreclosure process, and he has no interest in the property at this point.
Yeah, okay.
So what's your recommendation?
For compliance to be met for the unsafe structure, repair or replace any areas where deterioration or damage exists to meet current Florida building codes. Complete demolition of the structure is also an option for compliance, and all work must be properly permitted. And we are requesting compliance on or before March 27th, 2019, or we are asking the board to authorize the city of Clearwater to enter onto the property to correct the violations by any means necessary and any reasonable cost to be applied as liens against the property. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Could you go back to the first screen you showed? That one there? No, to me, okay. So I'm confused. And I'm confused with how the city is approaching this.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you don't put that verbiage out. You're guided to put out what you have there. I understand that. The man has applied for a permit to cap the sewer, and that work was done. Also applied for a thing, and now he's basically told you, when you can't go by that, I understand that he has no interest in the property. Why then are two options given to what can be done to rectify the problem when all the intention is for it to be destroyed? Well, just one thing. All we need is one. You can't have two. You're conflicting. You're given a permit for the person to go ahead and cap off the sewer. You've issued a permit that needs to be rectified because there's errors on the permit to demolish, and yet you come back with, well, you can go ahead and fix it up.
Well, those are the options that are available to come into compliance. Those are, we have to list what you need to do to come in compliance. If there's more than one option, you have to place what those options are. You don't necessarily always have to demolish the property to come in compliance. You can still spend, it may not be financially the right move, but you can still do it. That's an option.
To me, it just adds to the time schedule of getting this problem ever resolved.
But it's a choice.
Okay. So then what is it that's the permit was lacking that the city couldn't have said, tear down? I mean, tear down isn't building. I can see real constraints and concerns about something built new that needs all the building requirements and all that, but to tear something down, God's sake, get the thing down. It's a nuisance.
The owner entered into litigation with his insurance company because of the fire and the reasoning behind that. And I don't know what happened in that litigation, but he has since.
So he'd rather tear it down if he had the money to do it and be done with it, I suppose, is what it sounds like.
Yes, he intended to tear it down and rebuild, and for whatever reason with their litigation, that isn't the case.
Well, I get confused easily.
I would think that the recapping would be the immediate need because of the health reasons and the gas coming out of it, and that has to be taken care of first before they tear it down, and he took care of it.
Correct.
Okay, so I can understand what he's doing, the method in his madness, because that is immediate, that is a health concern. The raising of the property is not a health concern, so it is two separate matters. I can understand that.
You know, I see this playing out, and I like what Andy just said, you know, those are options the man has, but we've given him a deadline of compliance.
Yes.
So, you know, let it play out. We come to that deadline, you say he's already walked away, well, then we go to the next step in our language here.
And even though it's in foreclosure, we wanted to bring it before you and get an order in place.
Yeah.
That way we can keep the bank on track when they do take over ownership.
Right.
Thank you for explaining.
Any
Mr.
other
Chairman.
questions?
He has a question.
No question. I'll make a motion when you're done.
Did we hear your recommendation?
You did.
We did.
March 27th.
March
Okay.
27th.
So, yeah, make up, go ahead.
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before March 27th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including demolition, which are required to bring the property in compliance and charge the respondent with the reasonable costs, which will become a lien on the property. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the costs remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Second.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we,
Case 50-19 has been continued to March 27th, 2019.
And
Moving
we're
on
on
here.
unfinished business.
Unfinished business. I guess, are we taking a motion to accept all these, or are we picking out a few on the other?
For,
Do you have any that we need to take out?
well,
We've got the
for the affidavit
compliance
of
ones.
compliance.
All the affidavits.
Yeah, affidavits compliance, one motion.
One motion.
5.1.
Right.
I move to accept the affidavits of compliance as listed.
I'll second that.
Do we need to name the beginning case and the end case?
I
Or just the way
motioned.
he's, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5.2, case 99-18, accept the affidavits of non-compliance. Again, are we, this is part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the rest of this portion is the affidavits of non-compliance, so we need to see if there's anyone in the audience for any of these cases.
Right, is there anybody in the audience for case, I guess that's 173-18?
It's items 5.2 through 5.9.
5.2.
Up here.
Oh,
Through 5.9.
anybody here to speak on the cases of 5.2 down to 5.9? No?
Nope.
So we can make a motion to accept those?
Yeah.
Yes.
I make a motion that we set the affidavits of non-compliance from 5.2 to 5.9.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Don't we have to use
I'm sorry, you went a little fast on that. There is someone here to speak to 5.5 and 5.8.
5.5 and 5.8.
I withdraw my motion then.
You could make another motion just removing those two. 5.5, 5.8? Those are two.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can make the motion just omitting 5.5 and 5.8, and then we can hear these individual ones.
I make a motion that we set the affidavits of compliance except for case number 5.5 and 5.8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so 5.5, case 119-18, accept affidavits of noncompliance for respondents Jared Cole at 1955 Gilbert Street for roof maintenance and exterior surfaces. Is that person here?
Is that good?
They left. No, this is 1209. I guess they left. So I guess the next one would be 1209 North Fort Harrison.
But before you do that, let's just go ahead and do accept 5.5.
I make a motion that we accept again, case number 5.5 for noncompliance.
Right, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's carried. 5.8, case 142-18, accept the affidavits of noncompliance for respondents Kantar Investment Group Corp. at 1209 North Fort Harrison Avenue for abandoned building.
Good afternoon.
Hey, sir, would you tell us your name for the record, please?
Riyad Kantar.
I'm sorry?
Riyad Kantar.
Could you spell your name, please?
R-I-A-D Kantar, K-A-N-T-I-R.
I'm sorry you had to wait all this time.
Sorry. Here, I'll give you a business card.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is for abandoned building, and what do you have to say? Normally I ask if you admit or deny, but this is different.
Well, the building is not abandoned, sir. I own this building and we maintain it all the time. Last year we had a tough time. My wife was diagnosed with cancer and we were paying attention to my wife. But I had somebody to maintain it, and Inspector Julie, she had my phone number, and on many occasions she called me. And she said somebody dumped trash on the property. I sent somebody within the same day to take care of it. We have a graffiti on many occasions. She had my cell phone, and I sent somebody painted the same day. But eventually, I have the tax office. This is my record here. And she sent it to the old address we have. And I never received anything from her. And after that, she called me and said, I never received anything from you. She said, you changed your address? I said, I did. And this is, do you mind if I have?
Well, we have something you can put that under. It'll show up on the screen.
This is the tax.
No, sir, right here.
On the projector right there.
No, that's okay.
No. To your.
That's okay.
Use it. I'm sorry.
We're gonna help.
That's something I would do.
Don't laugh at me now.
No,
You're good.
This is the tax record, show as of January, and this is a letter I received from Inspector Phillips as of January 17, I guess. Yeah, and it shows she sent it to the wrong address. I never received any mail from her, I mean. And I told her when I said we changed the address, we moved to a different location. And she have my number. My number is on the building anyway, and the property is not abandoned. I have a lot of assets in the back of it. I have all my tool, all my stuff there, I mean. And I took picture actually of the property a couple days ago. Before I cut it, the property is not in bad shape, I mean. I maintain it very well. And this is before I
Okay,
cut
turn it around. Just turn it around.
Sorry.
Yeah.
90 degrees.
You're okay.
This way, that way?
No, same way, just twist it.
Just
Oh,
twist.
sorry.
There you go. No, and that's
One
upside
more
down.
time.
Two more. There you go. You
You
got
got
it.
it right. This is before the grass was cut, actually. You can see it is barely like 6-7 inches. And I have the picture after it was cut, actually.
Lay that one down the same way as the previous.
All right.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
You got
You
it. You got
see
your
it?
own now.
We had some problem, you know, the area is not that great over there, but it's getting better right now. And every time she called me, within probably a couple hours, I sent somebody to take care of the problem. One time there is they dump a lot of trash there, and I sent a couple people, they clean it within the same hour that she knew about it. I mean, so I don't know why she didn't call me or she sent the correct information, even it shows on the tax record, my correct address, she decided to send it to the wrong address, I mean. I never received anything by accident. I was there on Sunday. I mean, I had a couple people to come and clean the property, and we found the notice at the door. That's the only reason here. Otherwise, I won't be here today. I'm not above the law, sir. I have property. I own property, I mean, and I take care of them, I mean.
Okay. Well, listen, why don't you just have a seat for a second?
Mr. Chairman, may I inquire real quick?
Of course, go ahead.
Sir, are you saying you have the utilities turned on now?
We don't have power on.
So you don't have it on, okay.
We don't use it.
Have you sold the property?
No, sir. I tried to
And,
develop it.
You haven't demolished the property either?
No, I had a couple people interested in renting the property, but the city, they denied them because they said they need the zoning change, and it cost them $40,000-$50,000. So my daughter, hopefully, she's second year in law school in Gainesville. I'm hoping to give her the property, and she built her law office when she graduates next year.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a seat, sir, and we'll listen to the Inspector Phillips.
You can leave that up for a second.
think so.
She'll hit it.
We're trying to bring it on?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Board. Julie Phillips, Inspection Specialist for the City of Clearwater. The owner is correct. However, I'm not quite sure what date he gave you. This case was actually brought to the board September 26th of 2018. It was for lot clearing and an abandoned building. I did speak to the owner, and he is correct. He went out and took care of the violation immediately. Unfortunately, you cannot do that with an abandoned building. The utilities have been off since 2007. No one is occupying the building. It hasn't been demolished, and it's still in the current state that you're looking at now. I can show you some more pictures just to show that's when things were dumped, that he actually had it taken care of in June 12th of 2018. The backyard where transients reside here and there, but the trash is usually picked up. A little more of dumping, because when you see an abandoned building, it's just a quick place for people to leave things and leave. September 13, of course, my postings were there. For owner of record, we always use Pinellas County Property Appraiser for the address. So when somebody calls me and says, change my address, that's technically not our responsibility. When you move, you get in touch with the property appraiser's office, which is connected to our database. So I don't just go put any random address in there. It's the owner's responsibility, as everyone should know. Again, my postings, it always had that same address on there. When I continually visit the property, it's starting to deteriorate around the roof, which I haven't issued any new notices for because it is abandoned, and it has been for sale for a very long time. Again, in its current state in September, it is for sale. Again, this is showing that the water has been turned off since 2007. It has not been occupied. Sorry, that's kind of a sideways picture. And that's basically what I have. You really can't bring an abandoned property into compliance again until the utilities are on, someone's in there, you demolish it or you do something with it. It can't just sit there vacant forever according to our ordinance.
Ms. Phillips, and the only thing he's been doing with this property then, really, because it is abandoned, as you say, and it does need some upkeep, is just taking care of some of the trash and cutting the grass.
Yeah, it has no purpose right now. It has no use right now.
Yeah. He's done nothing to the building itself.
Not unless, of course, he sells it or wants to do anything with it. It's looked just like it has for years.
Okay.
And so, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but just so we're clear about what we're deciding today, what the reasons I asked, the questions I asked. This is the board's order back in September. What the board ordered the violator to do to correct the violation was, and I quote, the respondent shall occupy the property and have the utilities turned on, 1, or sell the property, 2, or raise the property, replace that area with the sod, and maintain as a vacant parcel to comply with the sections of the code by the deadline of October 26, 2018. So the board essentially ordered 3 independent things, kind of to your point on the prior case about what we can do. He can turn the utilities on and go in, which he said he didn't do. He can sell it, which he said he hasn't done, or he can demolish, raise the property and replace it by the sod, which he also hasn't done. So I didn't mean to interrupt. I just kind of want to lay the framework so we frame the issues up about why the city thinks he's still in compliance. He's not in compliance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, so the city's asking the board to accept the affidavits of noncompliance.
That's right. Based on the fact that the compliance remedy that the board fashioned in its first order has not been met.
Right.
And the evidence of that is Ms. Phillips' testimony and, frankly, the respondent's admissions under cross-examination.
Okay, very good.
Should I approach you mentioned?
Yes, of course.
Ms. Phillips mentioned about the service. As of January 2019, I have my address changed with the county, and this is, I already provided you with a copy of it there. And this letter is dated on January 17, so I tell you she did not send it to the correct address. And yes, people dump stuff in it, but as soon as she called me, I sent somebody within a couple hours. I tried to lease this property on many occasions. The city declined it. I tried to do a lot of stuff in it when I'm gonna turn the power on for what? I mean, for no reason. I had somebody parking their truck over there and maintain it all the time. He had the power on. After a couple of years, the city said, you need to move your truck. Although, I mean, he didn't even, it's not a storage. He used to park it at night. So I mean, the city is not working with me. I'm trying to work with them. The property, I have many pictures. I took them on Sunday. It's very well kept. I mean, I don't know what else.
Sir, when did you send your letter to the city informing them of your new address? You say you contacted them
No,
in
sir, I
January.
changed it with last year it was a rough year for us. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer and I didn't even work for almost a half year. I was with her all the time, but I had some people maintain the property. And when
That's not what I'm asking you. She sent you the letter on January the 17th. You said that it's the wrong address. You said that you updated your address with the city in January.
I
but you didn't
updated
say
with the tax collector.
Was it after the 17th?
No, sir, that's before. This is as of
What
January
date?
1st.
What date?
This is January 1st.
The first is when you sent them your new address.
Well, I changed it actually last year back in November or December. But they send you this one here, ad valorem, as of January 1st. The attorney knows about that.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
But the law says, that's why they post the property also. So the property's posted, you're supposed to know what goes on in your property. If it's posted, that's assumed that you have knowledge because it's your property.
Right.
That's why it's done more than one way.
Sir, I check on the property average twice a month.
Well, you must have checked on it to be here.
I was
The property
last
was
year.
posted.
Last year, we after my wife had her surgery, we went away for 3 months.
Sir,
the law requires you to know what goes on with your property, so that's why they post it and send it.
Sir, here's the problem. They have routines, methods, and procedures that they are required to follow. Their database, as Ms. Phillips just spoke before, is the property appraiser, not the tax collector or anything, the property appraiser. How they get their database, we don't know. But that's what she has to do. She doesn't have that option. You can tell her, it doesn't matter. You go and check your property, and that's good. And the whole area has been improving. That's okay. But the problem is, by all the qualifications that are by code and regulation, say that your property is abandoned or is not being used.
It's not being used.
Okay, and and they have rules. How do you determine that? Well, there are no utilities. So if there are people there, there's typically utilities.
I can't use it for anything, sir.
Okay. And you said, why should you hook up the electricity or the water? Because there's nobody there to use it. You're confirming it. So the problem is you need to come in compliance. Now you know. For no other reason. We all know that you know, but we heard you being told.
Not above the law, sir. Whatever.
I understand it. So your problem is, as you said, you own a lot of property. The problem with this property is it's a problem. And you have to resolve that problem. You're the only person that can resolve that problem.
What do you want me to resolve it? I will, I mean.
The city will tell you what to do.
I cut the grass all the time, every couple of weeks.
No, what they told you to do is either use the property or tear it down.
Well,
that property used to be a gas station, wasn't it?
Correct.
Let me guess, the tanks are still in the ground.
Let me tell you one thing. I submitted a plan about 3 years ago to build a garage over there, and they kept it in the city hall for almost building apartment, almost a year. And after that, they told me they lost it, and they refunded me my check for $1,100 after almost 13 months. And I have 2 customers actually interested in leasing the property to open a garage, and they deny them. So I don't know what else to do. I mean,
Well, you're going to have future problems with this present property because it's deteriorating, and that's going to be new.
so I maintain it.
Sir, here's the thing, we can't tell you what to do. All we can tell you is that we know you've got a problem. And so there are other people
I
out
guess
there.
I have to tear it
Perhaps
down.
we can give you better guidance, but we can't.
Or you can sell it.
I'm trying to sell it. Find me a buyer.
Can't sell it. Not with the tanks in the ground.
No, the tank are out, sir.
They are out?
Yeah, we
Good
took
for
the
you.
tank.
You're lucky.
We comply with the sign. They asked me to remove the sign, and I did comply. I mean, every time the city asks me for something, I do it. It's not like I'm above the law, you know. They said the line doesn't comply with the current zoning. I took it out. I mean,
The problem is you are facing costs, and there's no benefit for those costs.
well, the property I own is free and clear, so.
We're trying to get
As I told you, my daughter, she have 1 year in law school. Hopefully, it looks like the area is getting better. And hopefully we'll build a building for her, you know.
But a lot can happen in the next year. We're trying to give you options. And you say bring you a seller. That's what realtors are for.
I am a realtor by myself, and I own
I'm a
insurance.
former
agent.
realtor. I know how.
I'm a real estate broker. I own insurance agency
All right, let's
too.
make a motion. Let's, we have to accept this. City's asking us to accept the affidavit of noncompliance. Any other questions from the board, on that subject? Case 5.8, 5.8, case 142-18. I need a motion. We didn't include that in our acceptance.
Okay, I'm going to use the long one here, I think. eh?
That's fine.
I move to accept the affidavit of noncompliance for case 142-18 and issue an order that states after 3 months from the recordation of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Good luck to you.
Can I ask you a question? What do you want me to do with the property? I mean,
I don't.
Three options,
You
the
have
lawyer
to
gave it
ask
to
the
you.
city. They will tell you.
I mean, I don't know what they want me to do. You know, there's property abandoned all over the city. I mean,
Okay, do you have that thing that was read to you, the original mailed notice? Do you have that?
yeah, I
There's
corrected.
3 options in there. You need to select one of those 3 and
I mean,
implement
I
it.
corrected the violation. I don't know what else you want me to do.
No, sir, the violation says
All right.
that the building is abandoned.
Move on. I have a question for Andy.
Yes, sir.
Andy, in the future, when we do bring people in this, in the affidavits of acceptance to come up and speak, we don't have any ammunition here other than what the inspector tells us.
Well, you're making a decision whether to accept the affidavit of non-compliance or compliance based on the information that's presented before you. One of the things is that the inspector is saying in an affidavit that hasn't met what you ordered before. So if somebody comes up and said, no, in fact, I have done it, that would be something to consider, although normally what we see in that situation is failure to tell the inspector that it was done, so they didn't have an opportunity to re-inspect. But mostly, I mean, there are other opportunities. You could conceivably say, no, we're not going to accept it at this time. We want to wait for this information or that information. Or you made a decision like you did today that there were 3 options, they weren't met, and that you're going to accept the non-compliance. I mean, you're basically following through with your order.
Right.
So you've already made a decision on this case. Now you're just determining whether your decision has been met.
Right. In the future, if there's cases like this before us and we don't have all the puzzle pieces, or we think we could postpone, we
We could continue them if we had to, but you basically had all the information on this one. But yes, you could always postpone it to the next month.
Can I say something, sir?
No, you're done, sir. We have to move on.
I know, but I have picture of the building, nothing wrong with the
Okay,
building.
the case has been already decided. You need to talk to somebody in the city.
I mean, I don't know what they want, to be honest with you.
Well,
They asked me to maintain it, I
accepted
did.
your affidavit of non-compliance, so.
Compliance of what?
Sir, we've all told you, including Ms. Phillips, what to do.
Okay, that's enough.
Sounds good, thank you.
Other board action, 6.1.
Hang on a minute, Wayne.
6.1, cases 109-17, consider request by respondents Baymont East LLC at 55 Baymont Street to reduce the lien re-residential rental BTR, and if approved, issue an order that specifies a fine that includes administrative costs and establishes a date payable where the lien will revert to its original amount.
Yes,
You must be here on that behalf.
I am,
And
yes.
who are you, sir?
My name is Paul Gionis.
Paul.
Yes.
And Paul, how are you related to this case?
I'm the attorney for Baymont East and the authorized member of Baymont East is present here as well.
Paul, were you sworn in?
Yes, I was.
Okay, very good. And I apologize, you had to wait all this time.
It's fine. It happens all the time.
Which is your last name?
Gionis, Gionis.
Thank you.
So Paul, why should we reduce this?
What is the fine? What's the dollar amount at
Let's
stake
hear
here?
what he has to say
Okay.
first, and then we'll go to Andy. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. So ultimately, my client Baymont East bought this property on Baymont Street approximately 2 to 3 years ago. It is in a a district that allows short-term rentals. When they purchased it, it was a there were long-term residential leases on the property. As a result, you have to go through zoning to change it, even though per the zoning, short-term's allowed. Since they were using it as long-term zoning, you can't switch to short-term without going ahead and applying to switch the use of the property. My clients hired Northside Engineering as this was proceeding and spent about $30,000 to do it. What we were trying to do is just get the business tax receipt during this process. That was accomplished. It took several months. We were hoping it was going to be done November 17th. It wasn't. It took longer to just go through the zoning process. Throughout this process, we've been in touch with the city throughout. You know, they have known we've been trying to be compliant as we went forward. After that, what delayed us obtaining the business tax receipt that we needed a vacation rental license from the state of Florida. And multiple applications were made to the state of Florida, and there were 2 adjacent properties, and there was 4 individual units and then 5 in this one, and it just created confusion, which extended the amount of time that it took for us to ultimately get the vacation rental license from the state of Florida. But we did get it. And in the interim, we were making, we had contact with Mr. Fuino and Terry DeGault and everyone along the way that we needed to be, so they knew that we were proceeding and trying to accomplish what we were trying to do as we went along. Last August or so, we had a meeting. We kind of outlined to the city all the different steps and procedures we'd moved forward to get this done. There was understanding that they would recommend that this would be reduced to administrative costs because of all the efforts made by my client. Still some delay in getting things from the city. We thought it was scheduled for the last hearing for the Code Enforcement Board in January. It wasn't. It's set for today. And I think Mr. Fuino is on board with what we're asking for. And so we would just request that the board allow us to pay that the administrative costs. And, you know, we've remedied it.
Okay, well, thank you for that, and I understand. Any questions before we go to Andy? We want the numbers.
I have several questions, but I have a question for Ms. Phillips. Are you going to come up when he's finished? Is that what the deal is?
I will not. It was for rental units that have been in compliance. It was a BTR issue. It is in compliance. We have.
Let me ask this question. Is this where last year somebody came and spoke on their behalf and brought up the fact that now the problem was with the state getting that, I think it was an engineer.
Hushkabai, yes.
Yeah, okay, so you all been working on it.
Yes.
But what did you do wrong?
I don't necessarily know that we did anything. Well, when you say what
I mean, you got a fine. I don't know, first of all, what the fine is. And
well, it was $150 a day for not having a business tax receipt. It's specific, and you can't get it unless.
So they were renting short-term in a long-term setup and going through the process at the same time of getting it corrected to short-term.
Exactly correct. And we had to go through that process that even though these properties are in an area that's zoned short-term, just because they weren't that way previously, we had to make an application to have them changed.
Got it. Thank you.
Andy, what are the numbers?
$66,000 is the fine.
66,000 even?
Yes. The administrative cost from our side is $1,079.20.
$1,079.20.
Both.
And the city is okay with that?
It's both sides. $1,079.20.
That's the total. And Mike, you're okay with that?
And we have our.
That's our total.
Okay.
Wow, that's a great reduction.
I agree. And I really am very much appreciative of the city and all the help that they provided along the way.
Good.
I mean, they've been very good to me from the start. It just has taken a long time.
Okay. Well, I have no problem.
Okay, well, here's my concern, okay? So the short-term rental is a sensitive issue, I think, for Clearwater Beach and especially that area. But that area, I mean, that's all it is short-term rental, all those places. And the condos, they have their own rules and all that. I don't see this as being a real violation in comparison to what we experience in the residential areas. That's my opinion.
It's not like he was advertising on a website like we've always gone through.
Not the usual case, is it?
No.
And they were trying to, and through the bureaucracy between the city and the state,
Let's
I
put it to
understand
rest.
that. Yeah.
Let's put it to rest. Let him go.
Mr. Chairman, may I moved in an order reducing the amount of the lien for case number 109-17 to administrative costs of $1,079.20 payable within 30 days.
It's in my trust account. We can pay it.
Within 30 days of the lien will revert to its original amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Good job.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
6.2, case 111-17. Consider request by respondents Ibrahim Gohabriel at 1445 South Missouri Avenue to reduce the fine, reference exterior surfaces and abandoned building, and if approved, issue an order that specifies a fine that includes administrative costs and establishes a date payable where the lien will revert to its original amount. Hi. Hi. Would you tell us your name, sir?
Ibrahim Gabriel,
And your address of residence?
1445 South Missouri Avenue.
Okay. And so you're here also, I read your letter. You're here also for a lien reduction. So why should we reduce your lien?
This is large, big situation start when I received the letter about the violation. The same time when I received the letter, I have to go out of town for like 4 weeks. I told her, the lady saying her name is Christy, I think. And I told her when I have to leave, when I come back, I have to start to clean. When I came back, I meet her and we start to clean the property. I make like 2-3 appointments with my name is Ash Construction. First of all, we talked the Clearwater, what's his name? The board for Clearwater.
Ibrahim, are you in compliance now?
Sorry, I'm sorry?
Are you in compliance? It says here, exterior surfaces and abandoned building.
What is your name?
My name is Ash Farid. I'm a general contractor. I was trying to help him with the matter.
I'm sorry, would you spell your name, please?
Last name is F like Frank, A-R-I-D.
ID?
D like David.
Okay, and your first name is?
Ash, A-S-H.
Thank you.
Sir, y'all came in late. Have you been sworn in?
No.
I didn't think so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, if you'll just go ahead and raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that, I should have asked you. But it says here, you're looking for a reducing your lien reduction here, and the reference is exterior surfaces and abandoned building. Is that still the same status, or has that been corrected?
The violation, actually there was several violations. The violation that was started with Christian, the code enforcement officer, he was going out of country for, I think, 4 weeks or something, and I told him when I get back, I'll address the issue. When he came back, he met with her, and then she told him the violation, and she suggested that maybe it's best that he takes the building down. So he contacted me and said, this is the violation. I want you to handle this for me and let's take it down, which I have done that. We went ahead and we did the asbestos survey. We submitted the plans. We got the permit for the demolition, which the permit was issued by the end of the year, almost of 2017. Early 2017, there was a lot of people approaching as he was trying to sell the building, the city, to see what kind of use they can apply to the property. And the city is kind of denying everything. No car lot, no this, no that. So it was my idea, and I said, listen, Ibrahim, you're going to take the building down. All you're going to have is a piece of empty land that is just sitting there waiting for people to trash it, and you're going to be getting violation every other week to go clean the land. Besides, they have to pay the taxes, and you can't use it for anything. So why don't we just restore the building and see what needs to be done? We went and we met with the staff of the city of Clearwater. It was about 5-6 people, the staff, the fire, the engineer, and everybody else, the zoning. And we told them that we prefer to keep the building and just use it for whatever occupancy it has been approved for. We don't want to change no occupancy. We don't want to start from scratch. So they gave us a recommendation. They said hire a civil engineer to go ahead and give us a site plan that shows a dumpster, the parking lot, the landscape, and all the, et cetera, the stuff like that. We hired Pat Montiki, which she started right away on it, and she sent about 3-4 submittal to the city, proposal, let's put it this way, with what could be done, and they kept going back and forth on the buffer and the landscape and all that stuff. Meanwhile, we met with Terry at the Code Enforcement Office a couple times, and he said, as long as you guys are in the progress of trying to deal with the situation, on the other hand, we spend money, about $4,000 or $5,000, clean the property, seal and stripe the parking lot, clean the outside, turn on the power, get everything ready to go ahead and get it rented out, or he was going to retire and just use it for a little miscellaneous shop. So
Let me just hold you right there for 1 second.
Okay, may I clarify?
Yeah, of course, yes, go ahead.
This affidavits of compliance for the 2 violations have been submitted. So this is a fixed lien of, I think, about $76,000. Not to jump the gun, though.
73.8.
When Inspector Phillips goes up, I think what you will see is that there are other violations on the property that currently exist that weren't cited in the board's initial order that created the fine. So fines are no longer continuing to accrue, but from the city's perspective, compliance issues still exist, if that makes sense. And we'll see that from there. May I inquire very briefly?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, I know you have the property under contract, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and sales price is $245,000, is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
I looked at the public records and I didn't see any other liens, mortgages, or judgments against you, right? You own this property free and clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but for the city's lien, you would walk away with almost $250,000 cash to you, correct?
I'm sorry if you.
If the city didn't have a lien on the property, all that money, that $245,000, less the closing costs, will go directly to you, right? Yes or no?
I don't understand. The question for said the 243?
You don't have any other mortgages. You don't have a mortgage on the property, right?
I don't have the mortgage.
Okay. You don't owe anyone any money. You don't owe anyone any money on this property.
Property? No.
Okay. So basically what you want us to do is reduce down that $76,000 lien to a couple $1,000 so you can walk away with an additional $74,000?
Yeah, but the problem, it's not my fault because I don't know, they received the letter for $73,000 like a couple months ago. The situation started in end of 2017. And when I sat down with Terry, he said we stopped, we closed the case because already I start make different plan. Like I start already make a diminution. Already I start for this one. After that, okay, I said maybe we can use it for different. I don't know why the 73,000 take like long time. That should be to close the case since maybe after 1 month after we finish.
Well, hold on. But this lien is not holding up the sale of your property, right? There's enough money in the sales contract that I have here to cover the full amount of the city's lien, correct?
I pay more than that. When I pay
Is that a yes or a no? Is there enough money in the sales contract to cover the city's lien? You could pay the full amount of that $76,000 and still close on this property.
$67,000.
$76,000 is the amount of the lien.
The lien 73,000.
73.8.
Excuse me. But you have enough money. There's enough money if the sale closes.
why this is relevant anyway?
I'm not talking to you. I'm asking him.
Okay.
If you close,
I don't understand your question. If this is property, I pay more than $350,000, and I pay taxes almost like for 15 years. That's costed too much money, more than $500,000, and I don't use it for almost 15 years.
Why?
Now I drop the price.
Lien.
I lose money. I lose almost half price for the property.
but the city's lien is not holding up your sale. You agree with me on that, correct? You just want us to reduce the lien so you can get more money, right? No.
I don't understand your question, because I don't know.
Why do you want us to reduce the lien? So you can get more money?
Because we were advised to go ahead and pursue.
I'm not asking you, sir.
Okay,
I'm
because this
directing the inquiry
is
to
too
the
much, it's not my fault. I don't know, the 73,000, that's too much. Because I start already, when I received the letter since 2006, I already work with the city. I meet the manager, I meet him like 3 times. I meet her like 2 times in the Clearwater. Every time he give me different option. And he told him, he stopped the lien. He never tell me we have lien count every day. I never know.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you allow me, please?
What?
We are following exactly what we were advised. When we met in the city of Clearwater, we met Terry. He said, you guys do what you need to do as for the process. And then all you have to do is apply for a lien reduction. And we were doing the process, and then we wanted to apply for a lien reduction at the same time that he got the contract. But really, excuse me if I say this, I think you're counting the money in his pocket, which that's irrelevant.
Well, it actually is.
What we are.
One of the factors that this board has to consider is whether or not the lien stops the sale of the property. That's in their procedural rules. So I'm asking you, and what I'm getting from him, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, is that there's enough money to cover the amount of the lien. The lien is $78,000. There's no other mortgages. You're all getting $250,000.
It's not about enough or not. That's irrelevant. What's relevant here is if this lien is valid or not valid. How can you lien someone when he's in the process of rectifying the issue and you told him, don't worry about it, there is no problem, go ahead and get, and the meter is still ticking. And get,
Hold on. I'll tell you what's relevant here. I'm in charge.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
And I apologize.
No, that's okay. My question to the city, what was your motive that, besides the money was there to cover the fee, the lien?
The fact that, as you'll see, is also not in compliance on various other.
Yeah, that's the things I want to hear.
Okay, I have a question.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. You know, why don't you guys have a seat, just cool down for a minute, and we'll hear what the city inspector has to say, okay? And then we'll make a decision accordingly.
Can I ask a question, please?
Of course, go ahead.
I think you were trying to clarify that regardless of whatever action this board takes, it will not delay or impede the sale.
That's correct.
That's right. That's his interest. That's why he's asking the question. I can understand how you could understand it as you addressed it, like, what does that got to do with, you know, what are you looking at and so forth. I understand it, but that's not what he's trying to do. He just wants to make sure that this board does not do anything that impedes any sale or business arrangement that you have going. Okay? We're not trying to do that. Thank you.
So what we want to know, I want to hear from the inspector. I want to know if this is still out of compliance. I want to hear what she has to say.
Absolutely.
Well, good afternoon, Board. Again, Julie Phillips, Inspection Specialist with the City of Clearwater. This case was previously Kristen Harris's case. It was opened back in April of 2017. The owner was sent a notice of violation for an abandoned building and for exterior surfaces. The case came before the board in July of 2017, and they were found in violation for exterior surfaces in abandoned building. The owner is correct. There is one time that I'm aware of in the inspector's notes, who keeps great notes, that he did come in August 2017 and met with Terry and Kristen and a couple others, and he asked what his options were regarding the building because it was an abandoned building. And at that time, he was referred to zoning to see what he could do for a use. He shared his plan with the building, and he said he was having a hard time getting a buyer because of the actual state that the building was in at that time, and that was 2017. Now we're in 2019. I personally contacted the owner because Nicole let me know this was coming to the board again, and he said he was coming to get a lien reduction. And I told him, since the inspector was gone and I'm the specialist, I usually put my eyes on it last, and we'll decide whether I say to you, yes, it's in violation, or no, it's not in violation. He stated he just wanted to come get a lien reduction, and I advised him that's not how it works. If you have a buyer and you would like to meet with our city attorney and get a stipulation agreement and go ahead and take on that burden and get 30, 60, or 90 days to bring it into compliance, then you would come back and ask for a lien reduction at that time, showing the property's in compliance. The city's not going to give a lien reduction when the property's still in violation. It just wouldn't make sense. So I think when Mr. Fuino is saying that, it's like, why would we go ahead and lessen $70,000 when you can spend a few and make your building presentable? I think it's that simple. So having said that, I went out to the property on 2013. I'm not sure why you can't see it. But if you look at the front of the building, one of them was for exterior surfaces. That's what you see from Missouri. I mean, that is very unattractive. It's just got the same peeling paint. Again, this was in 2017. We're in 2019. As many times as he spoke to the city and he's driven to his property, that's what you see, and that's what the surrounding neighborhoods and businesses see. Again, this is the south side of the building. It's not that hard of a fix. You're talking about plywood and some paint, something that can be fixed relatively quickly and not really that expensive, in my opinion. This is the back of the building, which doesn't appear to be too bad, and this is on the 13th. Now, if you go to the north side of the building, the window that you see to the right, that's actually been covered and screened and secured because the door is open, it won't shut, and all they've done is paint over it. So technically that door doesn't even shut. And that's a better visual for you. It's just screened and painted over to look presentable, but it's really not. It is for sale. But even I put my camera inside, which I don't have to, but that's what you're buying. You're just buying a box that needs a lot of work. So for the exterior is what the inspector had. In my opinion, no, it is not in compliance, and I would not support a lien reduction at this time.
You're exactly right in what you're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're pretty sharp. Of all the years I've been here, when people come for a lien reduction, either they have a buyer with a new contract stating, hey, we're going to do this, and there's a deadline, or they became in compliance.
Correct.
And neither one of those are here. So I understand what you're saying. Sir, please come forward. So I think it's pretty clear now. You're asking for a lien reduction, but you're still in the same boat. It's an abandoned building, and you still have exterior surface problems. So how can we offer you a lien reduction when none of that criteria has been met?
No, everything is clean. I don't have any.
Well, these pictures right here are taken when? Just the
13th?
Okay, so can I suggest something?
Yes, go ahead.
If the city would be pleased if we, let's say, fix all the facade and paint the building in a pleasant color instead of that red, and try to bring in the outside of the building into acceptable condition, and give us like maybe 30 days to do that, would delay the sale. Would we be, we're very new. We don't really know what we're doing as far, but the thing is, what we don't understand is we were always led to believe that as long you're trying to do something with the board, either to get an engineer to work, which there's a one thing difference between a guy that doesn't want to do anything and he thinks he's a bully and he can bully the city around, and somebody is just is trying to do what he thinks he's doing right. And that's what we thought.
Right. I believe you, but it's not for me to answer that question. We make decisions on things that are presented here in front of us.
Sure.
And this request is a lien reduction. It's not like you're here for another violation and we'll give you some time to work with. Right. You're asking for a lien reduction. I don't think we can give that to you based on this.
No. May I say something? Sir, I have to say, when Inspector Phillips said that she found notes of a meeting in August of 2017, that's correct. So I don't know if the building looked better then or what it looks like now, but that building is not in compliance with the codes. So far, it sounds to me like there's been a problem, the owner has been aware of the problem, and he's been dragging it out with hopes that he could sell it and not have to put any money into it to reduce any expenditures he would have to do. I would suggest, and I'd like to make a motion dealing with that, they come back once they brought everything into compliance, and after they have met with the city attorney and the other people, and have some sort of a resolution that we can listen to and support.
Any other questions from the board?
No, I think
maybe
that
a-
makes great sense.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe amend that, your suggestion to 30 days to bring it in compliance.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that the case 111-17 concerning 1445 South Missouri Avenue be not considered at this time and only be considered when the owners of the property have met with the proper members of the city and resolved the issue and brought the property into compliance within the next 30 days.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You got a little bit of time there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, I would be communicating with the city. This is your lifeline.
That's right.
To answer those questions.
The problem, I don't receive any letter about violation. Like today in the morning, Mr. Yusuf, I think?
That's okay.
Yeah, he called me today. He told me somebody called the city, we have a lot of trash. I said, I clean it every 2 weeks. Why you don't receive letter? I don't receive any letter. I asked him for the letter. Why you don't have received letter? You have to fix it 1, 2, 3.
Sir, listen, we're already past that and we made a motion. So you have her phone number, right?
Yeah.
That's where I would direct that.
Okay, thank you.
7, nuisance abatement lien filings. I always ask this question. We take these all in one lump?
No, we're going down to 7.5.
Okay, so I need a motion to.
From 7.1 to 7.4.
7.1 down to 7.4.
They've all been withdrawn.
No, the last 3, yeah.
Okay, so 7.5,
Yeah.
case 27-19, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Martin and Rhonda Sherman at 405 North Garden Avenue for lot clearing and issue an order with a compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if the compliance is not met. Are they here?
Nope.
I have Inspector Dixon on that.
No.
We just have to.
You can, as long as there's no one here, you can accept them
Okay.
in one motion. We ask
Is
in
there
case
anybody?
somebody
I don't
wants to
think there's
speak on
anybody
it.
here for any, so let's, I need a motion to accept 7.5 to 7.6.
I make a motion to accept the nuisance abatement lien for 7-5, 7-6, and 7-7.
A second.
I see what I did.
All in favor?
You got me backwards.
That's okay, but he yeah, he, you did all right. 7.5, 7.6, and 7.7.
He seconded it.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
5, 7, 6.
Opposed? God, I think we're done.
That's it for adjournment. Yeah.
Move to adjourn.
You're tough cases.
Move to adjourn.
You're smart though. I like that.
Oh,
I
that's
think you
case.
should.